Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sip and Stitch. I hope you are having a great Friday morning. So let me go and check the chat. So hi, Clovis, and hi, Norma. Thank you so much for joining me this Friday morning. It is, what is it? It's January 20th. 2023. I'm still not used to saying 23, and it's going to take me till March at least. I don't know. I know lots of other people are like that too, but it takes me forever to change the year. So hi, Susan. Hi, Star. Hi, Joe and Terry and Loretta. Thank y'all so much for joining me this morning. So if you're new here, I am Carly Bell, and I love to get together with y'all every other Friday for a machine embroidery tutorial from start to finish that we call Sip and Stitch. So I got my tumbler with my Sip and Stitch on it, and I have a little bit of coffee left. This is our morning edition of Sip and Stitch, where you bring your beverage of choice and we make a project. So I'm very excited about today's project because, as you can see, I have a new toy behind me. So let me turn that down. So I'm excited to show y'all my new machine and play with it and make something really cute today. So yay. All right, I see everyone saying good morning. Hi, TJ from Mississippi, not far from me. Joe's like, mimosa? No, we're not having mimosas this morning, Joe, but that is a good idea. Maybe on another Friday, I will do that. Hi, Dawn. So great. I'm so glad y'all are all here this morning. So a couple of things before we start. I got some things I wanted to tell y'all about. But let me grab this so you can see it when I talk about it. Okay. So if you are a member of my CF Fans membership group, with that membership group, we get a private Zoom class every month. And this month we are focusing on working on the Kimberbell Spring Showers quilt. So I bought this quilt last year. I didn't work on it at all. So I was talking to my friends in the CF Fans member group, and I told them that was one of my goals to get done this year. And a lot of people were interested in it. So I'm like, well, let's make it a class. So this is the quilt, if you're not familiar with it. It's super cute. And what happens is each block is made in the embroidery machine, and then you piece all the blocks together. So if you are a CF Fans member or you want to become one, I have a link down below. Today, after our usual Sip and Stitch, we are going to have a Zoom class going over just how to prepare for the quilt and picking our fabrics and making like little Ziploc bags with what we need for each block. So we're going to do some preparation work today. And then next Tuesday, the 24th, we'll do another Zoom class actually stitching out a couple of the blocks. So that is for my membership group. It's only $9 a month if you're interested in joining, and what you get for being a member, you get one free embroidery design from me per month and a private Zoom class. Well, this month is 2 Zoom classes where we go over either a certain project, we stitch out the design I made you for that month, or we'll do some embroillance or stitch artists class. So we do something a little bit different every month. And what's cool about it is once you become a member, you get access to all of the previous embroidery designs and replays of the Zoom classes with your membership. So we have almost 2 years of either classes or designs that you can go and look at when you become a member. So the link for that is down below. And then if you're already a member, check the homepage for the Zoom link for today and for Tuesday. All right, so what's next? A few weeks ago, I told y'all I'm finally launching my beginner machine embroidery course, which will be an online course that teaches you step by step how to use your embroidery machine. I finally set a deadline for myself, and the course will open enrollment on Monday, February 6th. So mark your calendars. If you are interested, got an embroidery machine, don't know how to use it, need a really very basic beginner introduction to tell you everything on how to use it, come sign up for this class. I have a wait list linked down below. It's called From Start to Stitch, and you can sign up to be on the wait list, and then you'll get notified as soon as enrollment opens for the class. Okay, so that was something I wanted to tell you, and I think that's it. So let's go ahead. Oh, let me see. I got some questions. So Margie asks, does the membership group correlate to using her Stellaire brother machine? So for the membership group, I switch up my machines, but I do tend to lean towards my Baby Lock Altair, which is very comparable to your Stellaire. So for the Tuesday class, I'm going to use my giant 9 by 14, or is it 9.5 by 14 inch hoop, so I could fit 2 quilt blocks in one hooping. So that's the machine I'll be using for the class on Tuesday. I do tend to lean towards that class for any in the hoop projects or large projects that are easy to hoop on a flatbed machine. So yes, you can see some things on there. Susan's asking any brand. I'm guessing you're asking about the beginner embroidery machine class. That class, the course will go over the basics, but for any parts that actually have to be demoed on a machine, I'll be using a Brother PR680W. However, the topics are very broad in that we're going to cover what you need to know, and then even if you have a different embroidery machine. Now, if you have any Brother or Baby Lock, it's going to be fine because they're all almost the same. If you have Janome or a different brand of embroidery machine, the basics will be the same. You just might have different looking buttons on your machine, or you have your manual ready to learn the key functions that you need to know. But I'm trying to make it as broad as possible, but it will be shown on a Brother PR680W. Hi. Okay. Terry asks, what size are the blocks? The blocks are mostly 6-inch blocks. So like this top row I know is 6-inch, but the when it's stitched out, it's 6.5 by 6.5. So I can fit 2 of those in one of my hoops. And I think some of the other bigger quilt blocks, they can be done all in one big hoop, or they can be done in a 5x7 hoop, and then pieced together to look like one big block. All right. So Jamie asked if I know how much the course is going to cost. So the course, when it opens, oops, sorry, my camera has to blink. Sorry about that. So the course, when it opens, it will be $97. However, for my first time enrolling, so we're going to open enrollment only for a week, and that my first set of students, I'm going to offer a discount. So the discounted price is going to be $77. So for my first time students, it'll be that. Then once we go through the whole curriculum, it's 9 modules, so it's a bit long because I wanted to make it as detailed as possible. Once we go through that entire curriculum, I'll open again, and then it'll go back to the normal price of $97. Patricia X, the Sewing Machine Plus have the Brother PR900? Not yet. Not that I know of. I wanted to explain that the other day and I forgot. So I will ask him about that and see when that will be coming to Sewing Machines Plus. All right. Marcy's asking, how come I can't see all of the conversations? Marcy, you're on Facebook. This is also being streamed to YouTube at the same time. So they have a whole nother chat section going on YouTube. So that's why you might not see all of the questions. So great. All right. So I think I answered all of the little questions. If you posted a question earlier and I missed it, feel free to post it again, or wait till I'll ask you sometimes during the video if you have any questions, and then just repost it then. So I'm looking and I can catch it. If I miss your question or you're watching the replay later on, you can always post your questions in the comments below the video, and I'll try to get back to you, okay? All right, so today's class is super cute. We are stitching a beautiful design from my friend Dawn at Creative Appliques, and it is a Valentine's themed monogram, and we're putting it on a precious onesie for a friend's baby, a friend of mine's baby, and it's super cute. So this is, let me show you what the monogram looks like. So this is what we're stitching. So this is called the Heart Bow Wreath from Creative Applique, and this is a monogram font from her as well, called, I think it's Elegant Circle. So this is what we're stitching. So this is an all thread design, and there's no applique, and it has, you can make the color scheme however you want. I'm using 4 different colors, but you can, every element you see, like the bow, the wreath part, they have 2 different hearts, and the monogram, you can change this up and do it any color scheme that you want. So if you want to go more pastel route and do like a rainbow of colors, you can do that. If you want to incorporate more red, I went more of a pink route. I think Dawn had a really cute example on her website where they had a touch of blue in it. So you play with the colors and do whatever color scheme you like. Okay, but this is what we'll be stitching today. And we are going to be stitching it on a onesie. So I got this onesie from AJ Blanks, who's Angela Jasmina. I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with her. She has a really big embroidery YouTube channel. If you haven't seen her, go check her out. She has great videos showing how she runs her very large business now. What started off as a small Etsy business is a very large business. And she has her own blanks company. So that's where I got my baby onesie blank from. So we are going to stitch that on here. Now I'm using the 4x4 size wreath, and then I'm using a 2-inch size font to put inside. And we'll run over to Embroidery in a little while, and I'll show you how to merge the monogram into the wreath. All right, so let's go over some of the other supplies that we're going to need. So one of the big things is stabilizer. Everybody's always worried about what stabilizer to use. So I'm going to show you my go-to combination. I love to use I did not grab it, did I? Nope. I thought I had it all pulled out, but I don't. I grabbed the wrong thing. I need fusible no-show. I grabbed my fusible tearaway on accident. Okay, so this is the fusible no-show. This is a cutaway stabilizer, but it is much thinner and softer than regular medium weight cutaway, and it's also a little bit see-through, or that's why they call it no-show, so that even on a white piece of clothing, you're not seeing that cutaway stabilizer poking out around your design. So that's the first thing I use. And then I combine it with a piece of tearaway. And today I'm doing this on my new 6-needle embroidery machine, which has a free arm. And I use the Durkee EZ Frames to make life a lot easier. And so since I'm using these frames, I use a peel and stick tearaway. So I'll put the peel and stick tearaway, we'll iron the fusible poly mesh on the back of the onesie, and then we'll float it on the frame. Now, if you are doing this on a regular flatbed embroidery machine, I ironed the fusible no-show on the back of the onesie, and then I iron fusible tearaway on top of that, on top of the no-show. So you have 2 layers of stabilizer. And then I hoop it in my regular hoops that come with the flatbed embroidery machine. If you are wanting to stitch a onesie and you don't have a big free arm machine like I'm showing you today, I do have a blog post and a video on how to hoop a onesie on a flatbed machine. So I think I have a link to that post in the description box down below. So if you want, you can refer to that for hooping, and then you can still stitch out the same design on your onesie if you're working on a flatbed machine, okay? So don't be intimidated by, I'm using a big machine today and you don't have a machine like this. That doesn't mean you can't do this project. This project can be done on any machine that has a 4x4 hoop or larger. And I think the smallest embroidery machine is a 4x4 hoop. So you got this. No matter what you have, you can do this. Okay, so that is the stabilizers. Then, because this is a satin stitch design and we're stitching on knit, I personally like to use a little bit of water soluble topper on top of my onesie to prevent the threads from sinking in, which not many people like to use it on shirts. I personally think it gives a crisper look. So I did this test stitch on woven cotton, which is not as stretchy, but when you're stitching on something stretchy, you see like the edge of the column of the satin, it helps it keep it nice and crisp and doesn't look jagged. That's how this helps. So I'll be using water soluble topper. And then when we're done, we're going to have all this stitching on the inside of the shirt that's going to rub against the baby's skin. And I use something called Fuse So Soft to iron on the back of the threads to make it nice and soft for the baby's skin. So I know that's a lot, but that is the combination of things that I use that I think gives me the best result for my embroidery when it comes to any kind of shirt or onesie with the knit cotton. I combine poly mesh and tearaway. I use water soluble topper when it's a satin stitch, and I use the Fuse So Soft on the back to cover up the stitching. Okay, so let's see. I see Susan saying she can't find the group on Facebook. I believe there is a link to my Facebook group in the description box below the video, Susan. You should be able to see it there. If not, just search Carly Bell on Facebook and you should be able to find it. All right, so that was stabilizers. Then I have my tools that I use like for every project, and I have my little caddy here. So this is a 4x4 hoop project. I'm using EZ Frames. I have a 5x4 EZ Frame to float it on, and you'll see how that works in a minute. Then I do have my grid from my regular 4x4 hoop. I'm going to use this to figure out placement. And I use a disappearing ink marker to figure out my placement. And then when I'm done, I use a Tide pen to erase those marks. It erases with water, but I find the Tide pen works quicker. This is not an applique project, but I always keep these little tweezer scissors close by because they're great for cutting thread if you have any jump stitches or tails that need to be trimmed. These work great, along with my tweezers to grab those little pieces of thread. And I think that's it. And then I have this stiletto that I've been using all the time now. It's made by Clover and it has like a silicone tip. I saw this in a sewing video where someone used it to guide their material under the sewing machine. But I find it's working great for embroidery, just to like make sure your material's out the way, or if you have to hold a piece of applique material down. So I always keep this handy because I use it a lot. I go and grab it a lot. So those are my little tools, and then I have a little ruler for placement. So let's go ahead. Ooh, let me turn my iron on. You will need an iron just for, I like to always iron and smooth out my onesie before I start. And then of course we are using fusible stabilizer, so we have to iron that on the back. So I got my iron warming up. Let's see. All right, Crystal's asking what brand of stabilizers am I using? I am using Stay Perfect is the brand I use. I get it from Sewing Machines Plus. I should have a link down below for all the stabilizers, or if you don't see one of the supplies that I mentioned linked below, I do have a link to the Sip and Stitch homepage. That is on my website where I update it every week on that videos project, with links to everything. So they should have links to all of the stabilizers on the Sip and Stitch homepage. Also, I don't remember if I put it on the description, but Sewing Machines Plus made me a page on their website, which is super cool. So you can just go to one page and it shows you all the supplies that I recommend. I will find that and post it if it's not already linked below. And then don't forget, you can use coupon code Carly Bell to save 10% off of your purchases there. All right. All right, Kim was saying she'd love to see more videos using the Durkee frames. She loves them. I do too. Everyone's doing M hoops and I just can't afford those. I'm not familiar with M hoops. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I love my Durkee, my EZ frames. Kristen wants to know the holder for my tools. This is from Kimberbell. I got it in my Bella box. If you're not familiar with Kimberbell, I have a bunch of videos using their Bella box and their perfectly pieced subscription boxes, and that came in there. However, I know plenty of other brands make them. I want to say Cricut might even make them. But yeah, I love this little tool caddy. All right. All right, Margie's asking where's the design from. It is from Creative Appliques, and I have a link to both the frame and the font in the description below the video. All right. Hey, Dems, no problem. Good morning. Yes, this is a 4x4 design. Oh, Mighty Hoops. Yes, Mighty Hoops are expensive, but they are great. I do love my Mighty Hoops too. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to get my little wool ironing mat here. And get the cord from the iron to cooperate. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm using my little Cricut Easy Press because it heats up really quickly. But you can use any iron to just get your onesie nice and smooth and to put your stabilizer on the back. All right. So once that is done, now I'm going to figure out placement. And I usually just eyeball. I use my grid. If you don't have a grid, you can also print out the design in Embroidery, and it'll have little crosshairs on it, and you can figure out right where you want to put it. But for a baby onesie, you really only need to be like an inch below the collar. So I'm using my little ruler to see that. And then let me get my bigger ruler so I can make sure it's in the middle. You could also fold it in half and get a crease in the middle to see right where it should be. I always just go to my rulers. So 4 3/4 right there. So we're good. All right. So once you figure out right where you want your design to fall, and another thing to remember, because I used to mess up on this all the time, my design actually fills up the 4x4 grid, like my bow is here. You want to make sure when you're figuring out your placement, if you're using your grid, that either your design is already at the top or you move it all the way to the top before you start stitching, because there have been times where I was stitching something smaller and it was, you know, going across and the design actually didn't start here, but I did my placement here. And so the design was actually, you know, 3 or 2 inches away from the collar, a lot more than what I wanted it to be. So keep that in mind when you're figuring out placement, that your design is actually at the top, or you can move it there once you have it loaded on your machine. So once I have that, I use my little marker, mark my spots. Okay. Now, you see this marker, like it goes away fast. Now, we want to turn the onesie inside out. And now we're going to put our stabilizer. All right, and I need my fusible no-show. Let's see, it looks like I have a piece at the bottom here. That's not big enough though. Okay, so let me cut a piece. Get my scissors. So usually for the 4x4 projects, I can cut, this is a 12-inch roll of stabilizer. I can cut it like this. And then cut it in half, and I'll get 2 projects out of that. Yeah, fold this. And now I got another 4x4 project when I need it later. There we go. And this is fusible, so you want to make sure the shiny textured side is going down. And then just iron it into place. I could still kind of see my purple lines through the back of the shirt. And the fusible helps a lot with the stretchy fabric of the knit cotton, like shifting as you stitch. It kind of helps everything stay in place and helps prevent puckering. All right, it's just this middle section that I'm ironing good where I know the design is going to fall, because all of this I'm probably going to end up trimming when I'm done. All right, that's good and done. Now, that is ready. So now we have to do the frame. So if you're doing it on a flatbed, the next step would be to iron on some tearaway right on top of that poly mesh. But since we're doing it on EZ Frames, I am just going to see if I have any pieces that are big enough. Nope. I usually use a bigger piece. The pre-cut sheets come in like a variety of sizes. When I use a bigger one, I can get like several 4x4s out of one. It's just, I can use that for some other projects later. So I cut that and turn it over, and you peel the kind of paper and reveals the sticky. And what I usually do is I line it up and I hold it here, and then I pull and then rub it here. And then I do the sides, pull, rub, and then lastly I do the corners. And you're just trying to stick it down where it's as tight as possible. So you want it to sound like a drum when you press it. Now, I'm gonna, let's see, no, I can do the blue. It'll stay. All right, so the last step is I use my ruler. Let me use my bigger one. To draw crosshairs on my stabilizer. And this is going to help me with placement. I did my blue side. I don't know if you can see it well, but the blue one doesn't disappear as quickly as the purple. All right, so that is the center of my frame. They got little notches on the side here that mark, that tell me that's the center, and that's what I use to line up my ruler. All right, so now it is lay your onesie, and we're going to slide this inside the onesie. And what I do is I kind of lift it up and I look for that center crosshair. Sorry if my hair is touching the camera. And I try to stick my design down right where my marks are on my stabilizer. So I see that mark and I see that, and then you can kind of go through the armholes to make sure your sides are good. And the sticky stabilizer is nice because it's like, it's not too sticky, so you can lift it up and readjust when things are not right where you want it to be. All right, so I think that is good. And then because I prefer to use water soluble topper, I'm gonna put a little piece on top. My dog is not happy right now. I'm sorry if y'all could hear all that barking. They're cutting grass outside and he is just mad at the world. How dare they come cut our grass? That's how he feels. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so there's my water soluble topper. You can, I used to use pins, but you make sure if you pin it, you go like way outside the embroidery field. But lately I've been using my little paper tape. To make sure my topper stays right where I want it. And if you haven't seen me use, this is also something I got in one of those Kimberbell Bella boxes. It's a pretty tape dispenser, and this is paper embroidery tape, or you can use paper medical tape, same thing. All right, this is almost ready to go. So now the only part is you hook it to the adapter. So Durkee makes these adapters for any free arm machine. So it doesn't have to be a multi-needle, because like I have one for my Persona, which is a single needle, but it has a free arm. So you can get an adapter for any multi-needle machine or free arm machine, and then the frames are kind of universal. So for instance, I have 3 big machines. I have the Persona, I have my Ricoma 10 needle, and now this Brother 6 needle. So I had to get an adapter for each one, but I only bought one set of frames and I just interchanged them depending on what machine I'm using. Okay, and so these little thumb screws loosen up so you can slide those 2 notches through there, and you just push it to where this is flush here, and then you tighten these screws, and that holds the frame into place. So that is it. And so now it's ready to go to the machine and stitch. Let me pick up my mess a little bit. Let's go. Where's my mouse? Here we go. Nope, not that one. Ah, there we go. Hi. All right, let me clean up. Oops, I dropped that. That's fine. Picking up all the stuff. Okay, so we are done with hooping the onesie, right? So this is your big advantage of having a free arm. And when I say free arm, I'm talking about this piece right here. A free arm machine versus a flatbed machine. And is that you can slide that arm right in the hole of the onesie, and all of this can hang underneath, and you don't have to worry about stitching the onesie to itself. When you're doing this on a flatbed machine, and I did it for years, it can be done, but it's not as fun. You have to turn the onesie inside out, get it right where you want it in the hoop, and then I roll up all that excess material and have to keep it out of the way of the needle as it's stitching. Lots of little tricks. I used to use a lot of tape to keep it all out of the way. It's hard to float and keep things out of the way though. So I mean, I got an embroidery machine specifically to do baby and children clothing, and I learned really quick that those tiny items are not as easy to do on a flatbed machine, a single needle flatbed machine. And these free arm machines, world of a difference. That is, to me, that is a huge upgrade when I decided to get bigger machines, is specifically for that reason, to be able to stitch hard to hoop small items, especially ones that you would maybe call tubular or circular, where the arm needs to go inside, like a pocket or a onesie or a shirt. That makes a world of difference. Okay, so any questions about hooping? If not, we're going to push on real quick to Embrilliance, and I'll show you quickly how to merge the frame with the Monogram font. So let me know. Okay, Xander's saying, does the Durkee adapter can be used on a Ricoma? Yes, I have a Durkee adapter for my Ricoma. However, there are some frames I can't use on it. I can use them, but with the adapter, the machine won't come out a full 8 inches. So I can't do a design that's 8 inches tall. I can do it 7 inches tall. So that's the only caveat I found to using the EZ Frames on my Ricoma. But I can use my 8x9 Mighty Hoop. That's not a problem. But the way the frame adapter is, this little extra piece right here prevents the machine from moving out all the way, like it normally does with the hoops that came with the machine. All right, so I don't see any questions about the hooping, so let's go ahead and go to Embrilliance. So screen's going to look really crazy for a second, and then you should see Embrilliance. So let me go here. All right, I think you are seeing my Embrilliance screen. Let me double check. Yep, you see it. See, it's crazy. Okay, so here's my Embrilliance screen. This is what we are stitching today, and I had the design already made, so we're going to start from scratch so you can see. So the first thing you do is you open Embrilliance, and for me, I'm just going to click a new frame. All right, I already have my 4x4 hoop selected, or it's actually 3 15/16. It's a smidge shy of 4 inches. And I have that hoop already selected, and you can select hoops by going to your preference window, hoops, and then scroll until you find what you need and then hit apply. Now, we just need to open our design. So when you get the design from Creative Appliques, you get a zip file that you open, and once you open it, you get all these options. So all embroidery machines can use different formats. So Brother and Babylock are going to use PES. I think Janome uses JEF, and I can't remember all the other ones. Ricoma uses DST. So it depends on what machine you have. That's what file you want to open. Okay. And actually, it doesn't matter what file you open. It's what you want to save it as when you're done making everything. So in my case, I'm using PES. So I'm going to double click that, and it comes in several different sizes. So I am going with the 4-inch. So on my computer, it knows to open PES files in Embrilliance, or I can click it, drag it, and drop, and it's going to open like that. So that is all you need for opening the frame that I got from Creative Appliques. Next, you want to add a font to it. And because I'm using Embrilliance, I have BX fonts. So I purchased the Elegant Circle one, and I installed it on here. And installing is essentially the same thing. You find the you get your BX file, take it, drag it, drop it, and it installs it automatically. So that's all you need to do for that. And then once you do have it installed, you go to your lettering design button here. It's automatically going to come up with ABC, and you can choose your font. So when you get Embrilliance Essentials, it comes with, I think, 11 fonts, and there you could tell which ones it is because they're this purple color. And then every time I install a BX font, it goes on this increasingly long list. So here is the Creative Applique Elegant Circle Monogram. I found the 2-inch one fits best in the 4-inch frame, right? So that's what I'm going with. And then in the text box here, you enter your monogram. So monograms are always the first name, which this little girl, what was her name? My friend texted it to me. It is Sophia. So her first name's Sophia, so I'm going to put an S. Her middle name is Jude, but her last name is Steele. So her last name goes in the middle, and her middle name goes all the way to the right. So that's going to be SSJ for her, and I'm going to hit enter. So that's her monogram. Now I am just going to drag it and kind of center it. I'm looking to have kind of the same amount of space above this S and below it, and I want this S to be right in the middle. So I see that dashed line down the middle, and I'm looking at these two little black boxes, so where they're like right over it. Okay, but I'm eyeballing the top and bottom. Then for me, these two letters are too far away. The spacing is too far. I want them to be closer. I haven't had much luck with spacing using this bar when it comes to monograms. I prefer to just nudge them over manually. And so what I do is I select the green box, and that makes it one letter. And then I just use the arrow keys on my keyboard and scoot it over. So, and I count how many times I scooted. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. And then I'm gonna go to this one and select that green box, and then I'm gonna scoot this one over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I know they're equal, and I know the spacing between them. So to me, that looks better than the spacing apart. And that's it. So you enter in your monogram, center it, fix your spacing to what looks good to you, and then go to File, Save Stitch File As, save it on your USB stick, save it as the format that matches your machine, and then export your USB stick and plug it in your machine. Now, new machines now have wireless, so then you can wirelessly transport your file to your machine. So those are your options depending on what machine you have. But it's super easy to merge the wreath with the embroidery font. Now, if you don't have Embrilliant, you can do this on your machine. It's just a little more tedious. A screen like this, it makes it easier because then you open the frame, and then you would open each individual letter and place it right where you want it, either using your finger or the little stylus that comes. But when you're working on a small machine, like a PE800 that has a little tiny small screen, it's hard to get those monogram letters right where you want them. So that's where having Essentials is very helpful, because you got a big computer screen, you have a mouse, and you have tools to help with alignment and spacing. The BX font is beautiful because you could just type it in, it automatically comes up aligned and spaced accordingly. So that makes life a lot easier. Okay. Let's see. So Kim has a question. Can Embrilliant use just regular old PES fonts? Yes, it can. You just have to import one at a time. So I have some videos on kind of basic beginner Embrilliance essentials functions, some past sip and stitches that we've done that you can go and check out, and I show how to import one PES font at a time. It's basically just merging in one at a time, and then they have tools in there to align and distribute the letters so the spacing is even. So you can do that. It just takes a little bit more work. Okay. So, all right, Zandra's asking a tough question. Which machine do I like better, my Ricoma or my new Brother? That is a hard question because they're both fabulous. Each one has pros and cons. So I just got this one, so I'm still playing with it. I've been having my Ricoma for, geez, is it 2 years? Yeah, it's been 2 years I've had my Ricoma. So obvious big advantage, Ricoma has 10 needles. This Brother has 6. Brother also makes a 10 needle. So more needles, less thread changes, much better. Because there's plenty of times where I do designs and it's more than 6 thread colors, which means I have to stop in the middle and change threads. But then like today's design is only 4, so it's super easy. We're gonna set it and go. Let's see. There are a few more bells and whistles on the Brother machine, and that is it has an automatic needle threader, it has a laser, bigger screen. It doesn't have a camera, so that's not one of them. I think the Brother 10 needle has a camera. So a little bit more bells and whistles on this one. And then the really big one is price. So there is a price difference between the two. So it's just whatever is best for you and your budget, but they're both excellent machines. All right. Okay, Sharon's asking a really common question. So she's lost a lot of stuff on the right hand of her Embroidery screen and how to get those back. I think you press the window button. Let me go look on mine. View and manage views. Yeah, I think that's it. So when you're in Embroidery, all the way at the top of the screen, there's view. And then there is a manage views, and then it goes over and opens another little box. Make sure all those things are checked. Object view, properties view, status bar. Make sure all those things are checked, and that should come back up. All right. All right, thank you, Mary. Okay, so we've made our design. You either saved it on a USB stick or you sent it wirelessly to your machine, and ta-da, there it is. So now we are going to load our ready to hoop onesie on the machine. Let's see if I can get you a little bit better view to see sliding this on. So I'm holding the neck hole open, making sure that goes under the free arm, and then this Durkee EZ frame just slides and clips right in. So you just make sure the two little pegs on either side are in their appropriate spot, and the free arm is in there. And now for me, I'm lining it up and it's like way not in the right spot. And that is because the machine thinks I have an 8x12 hoop in because of the frame, but I actually only have a 5x4 EZ frame. So whenever you're working with anything that is not the hoops that came with the machine, it is super important that you center your design where you want it and trace it before you start stitching. So let me play around with this because I've already forgotten how to move. Where's my screen with the, I think I told you, I just got this, so I'm still learning. I think I move it before I, before I hit embroidery. So I was too far ahead. So you load the design. It's going to give you some options to edit it. So that's where we are now. And I mainly need to move this so that the laser crosshairs are right over my design. And y'all, I'm sorry, I don't have a good camera view of this, but there is literally like a large cross that is almost the size of those purple lines I drew on my onesie. That is the laser. So that is a nice upgrade from my Persona, because the Persona just has one little red dot when it's showing where the needle's going to fall exactly. And this one has a really large laser crosshair. So that's super nice. So I'm just playing around with this to make sure it's right where I want it to hit. Now, super important is tracing. So I want to make sure the design is not going to have any parts where it's going to stitch and be too close or hit this metal frame of the EZ frame, right? So that is going to be this dashed line square with an arrow. And I can see exactly where it's going. All right, it goes close to the top, but not close, not so close that I'm nervous about it hitting. And if I am nervous about it hitting, I can move it just a smidge down lower, just to make sure I'm not close to that metal frame at the top. Okay, so now we hit embroidery. And I have it all set to where it knows what needle it needs to stitch which step. So this design is all thread. So it is ready. We're going to set and forget this, and it's going to take 15 minutes to stitch out. So it knows step number 1, I want to use needle number 1, which is light pink. Step number 2, it's going to use needle number 5, which is red. Step number 3, it's going to use needle number 3, which is my lavender. Step 4, I use needle 2, which is my hot pink, and then I go back to lavender for the monogram. So it is all set and ready to go. And all I have to do is hit lock and go. And now it does its thing. I have it set, the max speed on this is 1,000 stitches per minute. And that's what I have it set at. It's shaking. I rolled my machine in here, so I don't have the, they have little feet at the bottom of the machine where you can go and make it press down into your floor. I didn't do that before I started. So it's stitching. So let me zoom in on the thread so maybe you can see it a little better. That's as close as I can get it with this camera, sorry. All right. Sorry if I made the car sick. So now it is stitching away and doing the frame. So I'm going to go to the chat and check and see if y'all have any questions. Okay, so Terry has, I think, the baby lock version of this machine, the 6-needle baby lock, and she's wishing she went with the 10. You always want to go big. Always want to go big. But the 6-needle is really nice. There are, and I can tell you this, I know a lot of digitizers that make beautiful all thread designs, whether they're satin or sketch stitch or vintage stitch, and they specifically make it to where it looks great in a 6 color scheme, because they know most people stitching or have Etsy shops or something like that they start with a 6-needle machine. So there are tons of designs out there that I can see when I'm looking at them. They're designed to be six colors so that they stitch great and quick on a 6-needle machine. So, all right, Marcy X is a good question. How do you get the sticky off your flat frames, or does the sticky gum up your needle that you notice? So the sticky, let me move my microphone on the other side too. I'm sorry if the machine is really loud. So the sticky stabilizer does stick to my EZ Frames. However, you can clean it off with Dawn soap or Goo Gone or something like that. I'm bad about cleaning my frames. I just kind of peel off as much as I can. However, they do not gum up your needle. The adhesive on them are specifically made just like a basting spray or Heat and Bond Light. All of those adhesives are on the very light side so that they should not gum up your needle. One of the tips that I got for preparing your EZ Frames before you start using sticky stabilizer is to use some kind of citrus oil similar to Goo Gone and kind of prime your frames before you start sticking stuff on them so that they'll stick, but then they won't stick really good, and they'll come off easier. So I've done that on a few of my frames. I noticed a little bit of a difference, but the one I'm using today, I did not have that tip before I started. So it does not have, the stickiness does not come off as easy. All right. All right, Sandra, yes, this is the Brother, no, I think it's a 680W. Yeah, 680W, not 690. All right, Paula says alcohol works great as well. And so does Mary. Thank you. Hi, Diane from Canada. Thanks for joining us. Yay, Mary saying she's glad I'm using this machine. This is next on her wish list. Excellent, excellent machine. And so something cool that is happening now with Sewing Machines Plus is that if you are interested in getting this machine, or the baby lock equivalent of it. I forget what the baby lock one is called. I can't remember. Maybe the Advantage? I know the Alliance is the 1-needle. I can't remember what the 6-needle one. But if you get a Brother 6-needle or a baby lock 6-needle and you purchase it from Sewing Machines Plus, and especially if you're ever ready to purchase a machine, call my friend Jean She's my direct contact there, and this is her phone number. But you do have to make sure you tell her Carly Bell referred you. But if you talk to her, she's going to help you get the best deal. And we are going to start signing people up who buy this machine can get a free owner's class with me through Zoom. And it's going to be an extensive 2-day Zoom class. They're going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There'll be 3 hours each class where we'll go through like all the functions of the machine, how to set it up out the box, everything set up on the screen, how to use the hoops, and then I'll go through some embroidery basics, and then we'll have a more advanced class for the second day. So that is something that we're offering now with Sewing Machines Plus, where you can get a new owner's class whenever you purchase that machine. So make sure, if you're interested, talk to Jean, tell her I sent you, and ask her about how you can sign up for those owner classes when we start them. All right. All right, so Marcy was saying she bought a cheap stabilizer from Amazon, and it did come on her needle. So yeah, that it might be because the adhesive on that one was a little too strong. But you can always change your needle if you're concerned that your needle has gotten gummed up. Array, that's it, Sierra. No, Claire, thank you. The array. And so while this is stitching, I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see behind me, but so for the longest time, I've had this pink pegboard, right? This came from my old, I switched rooms from my craft room. So my husband and I made this pink pegboard like years and years ago, and we put the molding on it, and it was super cute by my craft table. When we moved in this room, we had to take the molding off, and one of the pieces cracked. So for the longest time, I just had the pink pegboard hanged up on the wall. And then recently, my husband helped me. He fixed the molding, nailed it, and I actually caulked and painted it this time, which I didn't do last time. So it looks really nice now. So I've been having this up for a while. And all of these other things I've had in a corner on the floor in my craft room, just hanging out since like August of last year, wanting to hang it on the wall. I was waiting for the molding because I had to use the space, you know, to figure out the spacing. The molding had to be there. So bugging my husband. He's busy. He's working. And when he's not working, he wants to go hunting. So he's done so many things in this craft room. Like the things that he has built for me has been amazing. He built me this beautiful L-shaped craft table that we have a whole video showing us when we made it. I have a new craft island that we constructed out of pieces from IKEA, the little cubbies, and then a countertop, and we put it on wheels. He did that for me. I got a TV in my craft room now. He hung that up on the wall for me. So I hated to keep bugging him about these. So I finally got brave and took it upon myself and hung up all those things by myself. And let me tell you, I was so proud. It happened to be on a night where he wasn't home because he went hunting down the river. I live in southern Louisiana. And he wasn't home, and I'm just looking at my wall, and I bought these little things at Target where it like anchors, like it goes in the sheetrock and it anchors, so I didn't have to use a screw and a sheetrock anchor and all that. So I'm like, I bought those. I'm like, I could do this. So I started it, and I only got to use those anchors on a couple things. The other ones I had to use the screws, but I got my level, I got my measuring tape, I made sure everything was right, and when I was done, I was so proud. So I hope y'all like my pretty wall because I was very excited about it. All right. Thank you. This is Dawn from Creative Appliques. Y'all go follow her on YouTube and Facebook. She has some really great tutorials as well. And that's whose design we're using today. So thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Paula. Okay, so Melissa wants to know where I got my Create banner. So this one actually is not affixed to the wall yet because it didn't have hardware on the back. I got to add some. I bought these little rings. So this it's just sitting in here. This is a wooden board from Hobby Lobby. So just one of those wooden pallet board from Hobby Lobby. This is something I made from the Kimberbell Bella box. This is an old Bella box called Live Creatively, and they have some super cute stuff in there. I don't know if it's still available to buy online. It might be in the Me Time. So they switched the Bella box over to Me Time Delivered. It might be in the Me Time shop. I'm not sure, but this came from there. But you can make this. You can just get a banner design and put whatever applique letters you want in it. But that's where this is from. So this is an applique banner. It was all done in the hoop, and then I just kind of laid it. I haven't affixed it in there like I should yet, but I just laid it in there, and it kind of stayed. Short center. And there we go. And I just have it leaning against the wall up here because I have to put the little hooks on the back so I can actually put the screws. Thank you, Mary. I have a shirt that says maker of all the things. That's one of the first sip and stitches we did. I like to make all the things. So I made that sign. I used the little frame was from Hobby Lobby. I painted the inside white. We did a sip and stitch a while back where I made the sip and stitch squad like this on my shirt. And it's for free for y'all to download, where you can get the PNG file if you want to sublimate it, or also included the SVG file. So I cut that out of vinyl on my silhouette and then stuck it on the sign after the paint dried. The little red rack that looks like the sewing machines from Hobby Lobby. That sign's from Hobby Lobby. And then these two little wooden racks are from IKEA. They're like little spice racks, I think. I got a long time ago. I used to use it in my old craft room. It holds up little rolls of stabilizer. I used to have one in there where I kept all my rolls of stabilizer. It fits in it nicely if you have the space. Mine are too close together this time. All right. So that was all that I put up. And then on this wall over here, you can't see, I've hung up all of those wooden thread racks that I had. I used to have them on the table here, but I wanted to clear my space and use the wall space more. So I got these wooden thread racks from Joann, and I had to add the hardware on the back because they didn't have anything. And I have 3 of them hung on the wall over here. I took a picture, so I'll post it on Facebook one day so you can see the pretty rainbow of thread. So my room's coming together. I still have a few more things to do. I bought a big cabinet from IKEA that's over here that I put together. It's all there and great. And I bought some wall hanging cabinets to put above it, but I never put them up because I was like, let me wait and see if I really need that space, because if I don't, that's nice wall space to like hang up a quilt or hang up some pretty things. But my room is chock full of stuff. I told my husband the other day, I'm like, I need to hang those cabinets. I need the room. So that's my next project. I need to hang those 3 cabinets up. And then I have one more of those drawer sets from IKEA that I have not put together. I have one put together now, and it's great because I use it to keep my hoops in, because I have several different machines, and I don't have enough wall space and pegboard to hang up all those hoops on the wall. And the little Alex drawers from IKEA are perfect. I literally have a drawer for each machine, and it can fit up to the 8x12 hoop for my big machines. The only hoops it can't fit in it are the Altair's 9.5x14, but I set those like right on top, so it's perfect. So I got one drawer for all of my Altair hoops. I got one drawer for my NQ 1700 hoops. I have a drawer for my Ricoma hoops. My Mighty hoops fit in there. And then like my PE 800 hoops and my 5x12 hoop. It all fits in those drawers nicely. So I have another set of drawers I need to put together so I can put other supplies in. And then my room might almost be done. But I'll probably keep changing it. All right. Yeah, so Ann says we never have enough, always rearranging. And then I have this craft table that it consists of the cubbies that have the 4 squares. So it's a square, right? And it has 4 cubbies in it. It's 3 of those. They got 2 of them that are like this, and then 1 of them's like this. And then I have the countertop on top of it. And I've never really organized all of those cubbies. I just kind of shoved stuff in there when we moved in because my husband had not actually attached the countertop to the top of the bookshelves. And so I didn't want to organize it and then have to take everything out when he finally could get in there and attach it from the bottom. So we did that a few weeks ago, and I still need to organize it. So that's another thing on my list to do in here. But I have so many other things I need to do. I keep pushing the organizing part off. But all of this back here makes me really happy. So I'm glad I did that. Stella asks a good question. Do I store my Mighty Hoops put together? I do, but I reverse them so that the magnet is not as strong when they're together. But I know places like Dime, when they have those magnetic hoops, they have like a nice plastic piece that they put in between. So I honestly don't know if it's not healthy to keep the magnets put together. That's something I'll have to ask Tiffany, the owner and my contact over there. I can ask her what's the best way to store them. All right. All right. So our onesie is done stitching. So I love that with the all thread design, and it's a onesie, and I can set it and walk away and go do something else, go hoop something else. And this literally just did everything by itself. We just set it up and it's good to go. Now applique, we got to still sit there and trim and all of that. But when it's an all thread design, that's what makes these machines so awesome and so efficient, especially when you are running an Etsy shop and you are selling and you need to produce the most things in the least amount of time to get the most bang for your buck. There you go. So here's our onesie. So let's go and clean it up. All right. Terry makes a good point. So, oh, thank you, Eartha. Terry says, unfortunately, I'm at the point where I need an addition. So let me tell you, this new pretty machine I have behind me, it does not fit in my craft room. I have to roll it in here when I want to use it. Well, when I want to show y'all using it, I use it. So right outside of this room is my kids' playroom. It's like a big open bonus room. So I told him the other day, I was like, yeah, Mom's taking over this little corner because I need to put my machine here and maybe some one of those roll-in drawer units so I can have extra storage. So yeah, they're not too happy about that. But I told them, hey, I'm not taking over the whole playroom. I'm just taking over a corner. So yeah, I'm at the same point, Terry. All right, so I'm just removing the paper tape. And so Dawn has the answer. So it is not good to keep the Mighty Hoops together. Carly is correct. Store them backwards. So thank you, Dawn, for confirming that. All right. So I pulled off my tape, and now I'm going to pull my water-soluble topper. It tears away just like tearaway. And I find my tweezers do a good job of, I can get in there and pull this all the way. And then you just want to get out as much as you can, but don't freak out if you don't get it all because it dissolves in water, which means we can spray this with water, or if you want to wash it, if it's a person, if it's for you or for a friend, then I'll wash it before, if I have, especially if make sure I have my no smell detergent in my laundry room for new babies. But when I'm selling, I don't usually wash anything, so I can just use a spray bottle to get rid of any topper that is stuck in any of the small areas. Get my little trash can. Okay, so that is done, and now we can undo this just to slide, get our blue adapter off. Okay, and so we have our no-show and then our sticky stabilizer. You can just pull it away from the sticky stabilizer. And let me show you a trick for all my people that like to use the EZ Frames. When you have a fresh piece of sticky stabilizer put on and you're tearing away the first project you stitched on it, try to essentially make a hole in the stabilizer like this. So see, I have that hole. It's not too big, but what you can do is instead of taking all of this off and putting a whole big new piece on, you can patch this hole. So I would take it and I would turn it upside down, and I have this that I had left over, and I can cut this piece right here and just cover up that hole and stick it. I would stick it to it, and so then now this hole is covered up and you still have the stabilizer, and as long as it stays taut, it's good. The most I usually do that is 2 or at most 3 times. So when I was doing a bunch of bags for my girls' dance team, I was just putting their name on the bag. I just had this little rectangle and I just kept patching it, and I patched it twice, and then I would replace the whole thing. So that's something that you can do with your EZ Frames and the sticky stabilizer. So let's go on the back, and let me turn my iron back on. All right. So I have my little, I usually don't worry about trimming the tails of thread unless it's a really dark color, and I don't want it to be like pressed down and seen through the fabric. Your stabilizer shouldn't allow that to happen. It should block it, the color at least a bit, but sometimes those really dark threads, if they're super long and get out on the side, you can see them through. So you want to make sure you don't have anything like that going on. Then you can, let me get my good scissors. You can trim this poly mesh stabilizer to where it's closer to the design. So you can see where I ironed it. I can pull it up a little bit and get close. There we go. And now I'm going to just trim this and just make sure you don't actually trim your shirt. I hold it up in a way. All right. And then, like before I iron on the back, let me go ahead and wet this so when it's ironing, it's kind of drying it at the same time. So we have our placement marks, and we have water-soluble topper still there. So I just have a spray bottle of water, and I'll usually use a towel, and I'll kind of rub it wherever the water-soluble topper might be, because it kind of goos up when you add the water, and so I just kind of wipe it away to help it dissolve quicker. But it will just go away with water, but it has to be like really soaked. You can see some of the purple lines have gone away, but not all of it. Again, it has to be really soaked, I find, for that to go away. So that's when the tide pin, let me get a little closer. There we go. The tide pin helps get those little marks out, like super quick. Because, you know, I'm the type of person that's making the present right before we leave to go to the party. so I don't have time to let it dry and wash it and all of that. Tie pin comes in real handy. All right, that looks good. So now we can iron the cover up on the back, and when I'm ironing, it'll help dry those little wet parts as well. So I'm using Fuse So Soft. Chris is asking, can you use a tie pin on colors? Yes. I have not had any trouble with it. I've seen people in the Facebook group complain about it, but I personally have not had any trouble with my marks not going away or coming back, or the tie pin causing discoloration. I personally haven't had that experience, but I've seen people complain about it in the Facebook group, so I don't know what happened with them. All right, so this is the Fuse So Soft iron-on backing. And this is just like an interfacing that's really soft. And this is also a spot for some people that they have trouble with it. So this particular brand I have had good experience with. Some people have had where it comes off after you wash the item, and especially in the dryer. This whole layer will either peel up completely or come off in the corners. So a couple things to help with that. I round the corners so that there's not just a square on the back. That's going to help with the adhesive staying. Then you want to add firm pressure. And if you have a heat press, that works really well. If you don't have a heat press, you want to press with your iron. And usually I like to break out my big iron when I do this, but I don't have it ready right now. So I'm probably going to run this on the heat press when we're done with the video. But you want to press it, not iron it. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So I have my piece of Fuse So Soft. I cut it bigger than the cutout I did of the stabilizer. You want it to go around it. And also you have to watch sometimes, because depending on the heat setting on your iron, it might start like shriveling up in the corner. So pay attention. But I usually press and then move. I'm not doing the general ironing motion. You want to press it. And I have a little tiny iron, so this is going to take me a minute. But you want to press it and make sure it adheres good. Like I said, usually a bigger iron is better, or definitely a heat press if you have one. Okay, Paul is asking, where did I get the teal holder thingy? Are you talking about my little tool caddy? I got that in my Kimberbell Bella box. But I know a lot of people make them. So if I find one on, I don't know if Kimberbell actually sells it or not. They might on their website, but if not, I'll find one on Amazon that's similar and put the link for y'all. I know my friend Bethany has one. I think hers is made by Cricut. Okay, so that is nice and on there, and now all the threads are covered up, and so you won't have a grumpy baby with the itchy threads on the back. Let me move all this out of the way. Okay, so let's see what we got. Looks good. So here is our baby onesie with our Valentine Monogram. Super cute. Love it, love it. So I hope Sophia is going to like it for her little monogram for Valentine's Day. So I hope you enjoyed this project and you got some ideas of things you can make. Remember, you could change the whole color scheme on here. You can choose a different font for the inside. You could do just a single initial instead of a monogram. You can even fit a name in here if you wanted, or something else cute, like if you can merge a heart applique in the middle and put the name underneath, or there's all kinds of fun things that you can do when you play in embroids. to make this custom and unique. So let me check the, yep, so Krista was saying the Fuse So Soft, not just for babies. I use it myself. I do too, Krista. Yay. All right, so good. So everybody's saying so cute and adorable. I'm glad y'all like it. Okay, Gayla's saying she thinks that the little caddy is on the Kimberbell website, so go check that out. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I'm just checking all the comments. Okay, great. So I'm glad y'all enjoyed today's tutorial. Remember that even though you see me doing this on a big machine, you can do this on your regular flatbed single needle embroidery machine. It's just a little trickier to hoop. And I do have a video to how to hoop, a whole blog post on how to hoop a onesie. And I think I already have it linked for you in the description box below the video. If I don't, I'll go make sure it's there so that you can do this. Now, if you have a flatbed machine and watching this has made your eyes open up like, oh, like it did for me the first time I saw one, and you want to upgrade to one, please call my friend Jean at Sewing Machines Plus. She is my direct contact there. She will help you out to get the best deal. Make sure you tell her that I referred you, and to ask her if you're getting like stabilizers and accessories, the Durkee EZ Frames to go with it. Ask her to use my coupon code on whatever she can. My coupon code's Carly Bell, and she will help you out. And then also ask her how you can sign up for the new owners classes, which will be private Zoom classes with me that we'll do on a monthly basis. So like if you buy a machine this month, you can take a Zoom class next month, something like that. Ask her about signing up for those so she can give you all that information when we get that started, okay? And then if there are any other general supplies that you want from Sewing Machines Plus, even if you don't need a machine, you want to get stabilizer or thread or something like that, she can help you with all that. If you don't like to order online and you want to talk to a person, she's your person to talk to. All right. Okay. Let's see. So Kristen's asking, can I go back into the class that I will be offering? So which class are you talking about, Kristen? Are you talking about the new owners classes for this machine or my beginner machine embroidery course that I'm making? Let me know, because I have a little slide I can tell you more about it. All right. So that is our project for today. Remember, all of the links for all the supplies I use are on the Sip and Stitch homepage, which is my website, carlybell.com. See my name right there. And then you'll see Sip and Stitch on there. And that's going to show you a link to all the things. And then I should also have a link below to all of our past Sip and Stitch projects. I don't have them all uploaded on my website yet, but they're all on YouTube if you ever want to go back and see past projects that we've done. Okay, so Kristen wants to know about the beginner embroidery class. Okay, so let me show you my pretty pictures. Let me find them. All right, so the name of the course is From Start to Stitch. Oh wait, let me take this off so you can see it better. And it is a true beginner's course on machine embroidery. I wanted to make something that I wish I had when I started embroidery and had no clue what to do and how to use things. And like I learned so much, but it took years, unfortunately, to really get the hang of this. So I wanted to package this in a nice, complete, only one place you have to go to find everything you need. So I've broken up the course into 9 modules, and that is going to be an embroidery machine overview. And now, like I said, we'll be using the PE800 as an example, but all the parts of the machine you're going to find on every machine. It just might look a little different or have a different color or something like that. But we'll go over the basics of the machine itself. We'll do a thorough dive into the supplies that you need and what I use them for and why they're helpful. We'll go into details about all the different stabilizers that they have and what I use each of them for, and give examples of projects that you can do and what stabilizers I would recommend for those particular projects. Then we'll go into how to hoop, talk all about hooping and the different hoops that either come with your machine or accessory hoops that you can get for your machine later, and how that works. And then we'll go into more detail on hooping specific items. So we'll go over how to hoop a onesie, and that would be for a flatbed machine. We'll go over how to hoop shirts, blankets, towels, bags, the few bags that we can hoop on an embroidery machine. I might even touch on how to hoop a hat on the flatbed machine with some specialty items that you can get with it. So we'll go into that. Then the types of stitches and designs. That's where, like, when I first started, I didn't exactly know that was called a satin stitch or a bean stitch or blanket stitch, zigzag stitch, all the stitches and all the different kinds of designs like sketch and applique. Then we'll go over how to applique. We'll touch on embroidery software. And then the last module will be the maintenance and troubleshooting. So then I'll give you a bunch of examples of things that might go wrong and how you would fix them. So I have a wait list in the description box below, from start to stitch wait list, and you can sign up there, and that's just going to put you on the email list so that you'll get notified first when the course opens up. And my deadline I've set for myself is February 6th, which is a Monday. So it's going to open on a Monday, and then I will close registration on a Friday. And so that will be our first class, and I'm very excited about it. So if you are brand new, or if you have a friend that got an embroidery machine last year and hasn't touched it yet, tell them about it so they can come learn all those basics, and that's going to give you the confidence to really start playing with your machine and making things. So yay. All right. Mary said she needs some little ones to sew for. She doesn't have any grandbabies yet. You could do like my dad. My dad started talking to Chris about grandbabies before we even got married because he was ready to be a grandpa. He was a mess. I was like, Dad, no. All right. Yay, Kristen. I'm glad. I hope this course gives you everything you need. That is my goal. I wanted to make something for people who are just starting out, or like me, like I didn't notice embroidery until I had babies. And then when I got those Monogram baby gifts at my baby shower, I was like, I fell in love, and I was like, I need to learn how to do this. So that's my story. But then I had no quilt shop close by to take classes. And this was 2012, and YouTube was not the place that I went to find things. So that's what I'm hoping to make. I'm hoping to make something that will help that person that's just starting out, can't go to an in-person class, want to do it online at their own pace, watch the videos at 11 o'clock at night when the baby's sleeping, and play with your machine. That's what I'm trying to go for. So yay. Okay. How if we made the list? So you sign up, you are on the list. So when you go to the sign up page, it's going to say put your name and your email, and then you'll get a confirmation say you're on the list, and we'll contact you when the course opens up. So that's all you need to do. Then if you don't already receive my newsletter, you'll get my email newsletter that I send out every week with updates of what's going on for Sip and Stitch. And like yesterday, I was on Sewing Machines Plus live show talking about my Baby Lock Altair. They released the Meridian yesterday. I think Carol got the Meridian recently. So Baby Lock released a new machine that can be sold online. So previously you had to go to a dealer in order to buy it. But now they have like 8 or 9 machines they released to be sold online. And one of them is the Meridian. And the Meridian is the embroidery only version of my Altair. My Altair is a combination sewing and embroidery machine. So the Meridian is all the same embroidery features that my Altair has. So if you were looking for that machine and didn't want to pay for the Altair, it's a much higher price point because it's a combo, and you just want the embroidery, go check out the Meridian. Call Jean, tell her you're interested in it, and she'll help you get it. So I was on that show yesterday, so I could put that in the newsletter, stuff like that. Yay! So Krista has the Meridian and loves it. It is a wonderful machine. It really is. I'm excited to do all my quilt blocks on it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Okay, so I think that's all of the things. Oh, I have one more announcement. So our next Sip and Stitch is going to be Friday, February 3rd. And I had this planned, but now I see other people are releasing videos on the same technique. So y'all tell me if y'all still want me to do it. My friend Kelly at the Embroidery Nurse just released a great video showing how to do this technique. I've been seeing it in Facebook groups, and I tried it out last week, and I'm obsessed with it. But it's faux chenille. So let me show you. It is this chenille yarn that you can use to embroider. Lettering is, I think, the most popular. I also did like a trial with a heart. Where'd it go? Let me find it. The heart did not go as well. But I just opened up a heart on the, I did this on the Persona, on the machine itself, like one of the little heart frames, and stitched it. So if you haven't seen this before, it is this ginormous ball of yarn. It's bigger than my head. I got it from Joann's, and it's faux or chenille yarn. I don't know. People typically use this to crochet like a big chunky blanket, and it's super soft. So I kind of want to make a blanket with one too. Abigail started playing with crochet the other day, and now I learned how to make a chain stitch, and so now I'm like, maybe I can make a blanket. Anyway, I bought this for embroidery, and it's kind of tricky, and so that's why I'm like, let me play with this first. And then as I was doing it, I had the idea, I tried taping it, that didn't work. I had the idea that if the design was digitized specifically to do this, so that it goes a little way and stop, goes a little way and stop, goes a little way and stop, this is going to work nicely. So I was going to digitize y'all a design like love or the heart or whatever, and give it away so y'all can do this. Let me know if this is what y'all want to do for Sip and Stitch. Like I said, my friend Kelly just did a video on this, so it's out there already. If y'all want me to work on something else for Sip and Stitch, so just let me know. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments if you still want to see this or you want to move on to something else fun that we can do for either Valentine's Day or Mardi Gras. Let's see. Okay, so Sherry wants to learn. Jessica. All right, Carol. Yes, Carol, that's who you were, who I was talking about with the Meridian, and it's a great machine. Yes. Yeah. So Eartha saw Kelly's video. It's really good. Let's see. Yay. Okay. So the one caveat though to this technique is I do not recommend you try it on a flatbed machine, because one of the advantages of the free arm machine is the presser foot being so high, and it's constantly going up and down, right? With a flatbed machine, you lower the presser foot and it goes. It moves a little bit, but it goes more flat. So even if you raise the presser foot height on your machine, if your machine allows you to do that super high, I think it's still not high enough. So that's one thing. I think this is a project I would only recommend you do on a free arm machine. So I would show you on the Persona if it's something you still want to do. But I will play with it on a flatbed. I didn't even attempt it because I thought right off the bat it's not going to work, but I'll see. All right, so I see a few people saying, so okay, well, I'll shoot for that for our next Sip and Stitch on the February 3rd. And if we do the yarn thing, I'm going to make a design and have it as a free download for y'all so that it's made, because it's super tricky. Because the people I was seeing like TikTok videos of people doing it, your finger is like under the needle the whole time, guiding the thread where to go, and it looks super crazy, and I don't want to do that. That's why I tried taping it, but that didn't work either. So let's see. Jessica's asking, could this be done on a sewing machine? I don't know. It would. You have a lot more control on a sewing machine. I could try it on my Durkee and see if that works. I'll let you know. So I'll play around with this, see what I come up with. I might not have all the info a full week before the show for you to see it all or download the design. So be patient with me on that. But it's really, really fun. And if we can get it digitized right, or if we could do it on a sewing machine, or if I could get it to work on a flatbed machine, I'll try that as well. But it gives your shirt or whatever a really textured 3D effect. Another thing we need to test is how is this going to hold up in the wash. I think it should hold up well, but like where I cut the yarn is kind of a raw edge, and I could pull at it and little pieces come out, but I think once I pull it all, it eventually stops where it's not shedding. So still some things I need to play with to see if it works. So, but I'm really excited. It's super cute. And the only thing I was frustrated with was that they only have this size at the store, well, at least at Joann. And I want like 5 different colors, but each of these costs like $20. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $100 on yarn that I don't know is going to work. So I'm probably going to be limited to Valentine's, but I really want to make a Mardi Gras shirt with purple, green, and gold with this. I think that would be really fun. So if you see a place that sells it in a smaller bundle and a cheaper price, let me know so I can go get more colors. All right. Let's see. So Chantel's saying on a flatbed machine, you might be able to use press and seal or water-soluble topper to hold it down. Possibly. I'll play around with that. I don't know if that would work, but I'll try it. I've seen plenty of times people don't recommend you use press and seal with your machine. That's not necessarily designed for a needle to go through. So I see a lot of people that use it, like saran wrap and stuff like that, instead of water-soluble topper, but I'm going to be the person to say I don't recommend it. Okay. Yes, Jessica's saying it should be fine in the wash because of the thread. I'm not worried about the embroidery thread that tacks it down to the garment. I'm worried about the edges of the chenille yarn. That if it's not like a finished edge, in a sense, it's a raw edge. So I don't know if that wears away. Yes, I need to learn to knit and crochet. Okay, Stacy saying Walmart and Michael's has the yarn. Yeah, because I think I saw Kelly went to Michael's for hers, and hers did look smaller. So maybe I can go get more colors, but Walmart's probably the cheapest. I'll go check that out. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this Valentine's monogram. So remember, the design is over at Creative Appliques. I have links in the comments, in the description box below the video for the design, the monogram. I have a link to AJ Blanks. Sorry, I need to get a new setup, but my camera likes to blink every 30 minutes. I have a link to AJ Blanks, where if you need some nice baby blanks, and the machine, if you're interested in upgrading. And I have Jean's information written down there with her phone number and her email if you want to call or talk to her and ask her about it, okay? So thanks so much for joining me today. Oh, I see Stacy has a good recommendation to use a fray check on the edge of the yarn. That should help, definitely. Let's see. Linda, I don't understand your question. It says, I have the unlimited on Creative. Will I still be able to get it? So Linda, send me a message on Facebook or an email and let me know, or write it in the comments, because I don't understand your question. So, but that's it for today. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and weekend. And we will be back on February 2nd. No, February 3rd is a Friday. And hopefully we're going to be playing with this faux chenille yarn to create some really fun embroidery designs. So thanks again, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.